I did want to say that I do stream to YouTube, so um, it's a live stream. So I like to make the audience aware of that, and then we can go ahead and get started. All right. Um, it's a live stream. Okay. All righty. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to make you wait. And then also for those that are on the my social channels watching this live, welcome. I'm very happy to have you all here. Today's presentation and webinar is about breaking into IT project management. And hopefully my goal is that you're going to be able to walk away with some clarity on what a career in IT project management really looks like and what you need to do or learn in order for you to get a job or an opportunity within technical projects. So let me first introduce myself. I am Majuba Bianchi, but I actually go by MJ. I come from a project management background, 16 plus years of it. And of those 16 years, 14 years of it have been on IT projects. And some of those projects were, as part of a PMO or direct IT implementation of both software and hardware. Um, Other IT projects include actual coding and developing new software for an organization. Aside from my 16 years of working on projects, I've been a coach, an instructor for the past 8 years of my life, which I absolutely enjoy supporting others to learn and really build successful careers where they're not having to sacrifice their salary for a job that they absolutely love. I do have a course on LinkedIn. So if you're interested in taking a course and if you have that premium subscription, then it's called Mastering Project Complexity, and it's a wonderful course. Really goes to the depth of how do we manage complexity on projects. So I encourage you to watch that if you are on LinkedIn. I am the founder of 3T Career Institute. We'll get into that and what we do in a little bit, but essentially it's all about building successful careers in IT project management. Here's how my story goes. I would say even though I had a career, I think I was struggling at the very beginning of my career, or at the beginning of graduating with my bachelor's degree, and I had this beautiful degree, and I was like, okay, what next? Um, and so while during the struggle, I was obviously not making the amount of money that I wanted to make. I saw people who graduated with technical degrees and they were, getting these opportunities and jobs, and here I was sort of lagging behind, or at least what I felt like was lagging behind in comparison. Um, at the time, I did think that getting a master's degree would be helpful, and I was working for one of the top four consulting companies making below $50,000 a year. And I thought, hey, if I get my master's degree, it might help me sort of increase that into, hopefully in the 70s. And while I was in that process of getting my master's, I was networking, and at that time, I determined that IT was going to be the route I'm going to go. And I just sort of put feelers out there. And a friend of mine said, "Well, I know a consulting firm. They're hiring if you want to go and apply for a job." And I said, "Sure," and I went, did a little bit of prep. And at that time, I didn't have any certifications, and I hadn't even finished my MBA at that time. And I got an opportunity, and believe it or not, I got myself a jump of, I would say about $30,000. So that was my first major jump in getting into the world of IT project management, and I said, okay, so what's next for me? Um, and I knew the world was changing as well, and everything was becoming IT. And I said, I think this is a career path that I can select for myself. Um, so, one of the reasons why I selected IT project management all those years ago, because I knew the world is more focused on technology. Technology makes things easy. We think about automation or softwares that you probably use today, even the cell phone, our cell phones, it makes life easy. So anything that brings efficiency makes life easy and can be, decent in cost, which technology can be built today a lot less than what it was years ago, then you know that that field is going to be fast growing, and it still is. And the good thing about IT project management is that it has high salary potential. So right when I went from my non-technical to a technical job, I was able to get that $35,000 increase. The other thing about IT is that it's everywhere. You have healthcare, tech, finance, marketing, real estate. I mean, schools, you name it. It doesn't matter the industry. IT exists because we have to build up environments. We have to bring automation, structure, efficiency, and a lot of that is done through automation and through IT projects. Also, IT is great for career changers. And the reason for that is that a lot of the experience that you have, most likely, is you're able to transition that into IT project management. And so let's get to that part next. The common myths that keep people stuck where they are and they never really go into IT project management is because they think, well, I need a tech background, or I need a PMP to start, or they might say, well, I don't have enough confidence to lead a project. So when I first started, I didn't have any of those. I didn't have a tech background. I didn't have a PMP, and honestly, at that time, I don't even think I knew what an IT project was. But I was willing to learn and explore a career that sort of felt, out of the box for me. And in that time, when I did prep for that interview, some things that I learned was, well, when we talk about IT projects, well, what are they, right? And what is what are the different approaches out there? So I kind of did a little bit of studying, and at that time, Agile, to be honest, was not this like prominent way of running projects. It was waterfall, and then people are kind of dabbing into Agile. I kind of got, I asked around and people were giving me some information. And one of the major tools that I learned how to use, and I was on the job, was MS Project. But the tools today that someone who wants to be in IT, you have to understand what is Jira, what is MS Project, what is Asana, what is Smartsheets, and how does it help you uh, ensure that IT projects are a success. The other thing that is really important to know if you're trying to break into IT project management, key terminology and communication skills. So you really have to make sure that you understand the lingo of IT projects, right? And when you are in a role of support, which when I think of support roles, I think, a project analyst, a program analyst, someone who's a coordinator, someone who has a functional role, even though you're not coding, you're not building software, you're not testing, but you are around all of those things, which means you have to understand the key terminology that the technical team uses. So there's really no getting away from that. So this is where the right training comes into play. So, for those that want to break into IT project management, depending on your experience, If anything that says project management, even if it's not IT, a PMP is a requirement. And in today's job recs, if you look up, uh, requirements, you'll see the PMP certification as, preferred certification or required certification, or we would like you to have it in the next 6 months kind of thing. And, and recently someone said, well, MJ, I'm not seeing, I saw this role and it's not asking for a certification. I said, well, it's not directly asking, but if there's someone with a PMP certification, they'll most likely get the opportunity before someone who doesn't have it. So that's really, the biggest takeaway is the cert is valued. And so if you do have it, it's definitely great. So certifications are key. Understanding the fundamentals of project and product development is important. Doing some kind of a workshop where you're using the tool to actually build out a project from scratch using the Agile and Scrum method. And so this sort of hands-on simulation is going to build your confidence around managing projects. And the hands-on learning is so important because you'll be able to sort of touch and feel the kind of work you're going to be doing as an IT PM. So when you go on that job interview, you're going to be like, okay, I know what the tool is, or I've used the tool. I know the project management life cycle, and then I understand how to apply that life cycle to a tool to help my project team succeed. And that's what I think when I see a lot of my clients, that's what they're lacking. They're lacking the ability to envision themselves in the role of an IT project. Therefore, if they can't envision it, then they think that it's out of reach for them. So the importance is to bridge that and build yourself that vision and that experience through that hands-on simulation so that you can then have that knowledge of, okay, I know what it looks like, I know how it's done, and I can go on an interview and describe it. And so part of that training, right, training versus theory, when you go to a job interview, even though as an IT project team member, again, you're not coding, you're not testing, you're not building anything, you're not, you don't need to know SQL languages or Python languages, anything like that. But the expectation is that you can successfully kick off an IT project, that you can successfully build a project schedule. And that's where, if you know how to do those things, because your technical team relies on the IT project management team and resource to help them stay organized, to help them with prioritizing the requirements and helping them, the team, the technical team, ensure that they have someone with a flashlight, showing them the way. That's what they need. They know how to do the technical work, but they need someone who understands the technical work enough to plan the project around it. And that is where, you build your confidence around that as an IT project management resource. You can really lead excellent technical projects. So if you have any questions, put in the chat. If you're watching this live, I'll answer it as soon as the webinar is done. But if you're here in the webinar, then you can go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'd be more than happy to respond. The next few slides, what I'm going to go over is really how to get yourself out there. So you're positioning yourself for these IT project opportunities. And I do want to say that as I talk about IT project management, I want you to know that if you're completely new to this world, you're not going to go in as an IT project manager who's managing the project from start to finish. When you position yourself for an IT project management opportunity, essentially what you're doing with zero experience, you're saying, I'm learning everything I can in terms of IT project management to be a support member of an IT project, but not necessarily an IT project manager. For that, you'll need to build your experience. But by just studying, learning these concepts and doing the training and so on, you're positioning yourself, which is exactly what I did 14 years ago. So what does that positioning look like? One of the first things is standing out as a project manager. So then what do we have to do? Your professional brand matters. If you're looking to position yourself in IT project management, and the minute you talk about it, people are going to say, well, what do you know? And do you understand IT, or do you know what SDLC is, or do you know what a product owner is? So you have to build your skills and your knowledge and be able to have this clear understanding of, in this ecosystem of IT operations and IT projects where you fit in and what the kind of work you're going to be doing. So that part of building your own brand is going to be so important, and that does mean training and understanding and sort of emerging yourself in that world of project management. So, part of that branding means surrounding yourself and networking with people who are PMs. The next thing is building your portfolio, your resume, your LinkedIn, and your cover letter. These three things have to look like a package, right? So if someone's looking at your resume and your LinkedIn profile, they can say, okay, well, this person's gotten training in IT project management. It looks like they've got an understanding of SDLC. They have an understanding of Agile. They have an understanding of product owner certifications. They can go to your LinkedIn profile and see your past experiences translated into project management lingo. So all of that's going to be really important so that you have this cohesiveness that recruiters, are able to envision you in the role that they're looking to fulfill. So that's sort of what I call, this full package of a PM. The next thing is, your personal brand. It's speaking like a PM, using words that help you connect with others who are in the same environment, same kind of jobs, saying things like risks or communication plan or project schedule, milestones, product roadmap, backlog, user stories, epics, so all of those things are going to be important. And so my recommendation is join those PM communities on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and get familiar with the kinds of keywords that are being used, the kinds of words that are being used to describe certain situations. Confidence is the next thing, the confidence to step into the role even though you have fear. I can't say that fear ever goes away. Anytime, you do something new, that fear is always going to be in your heart. But it's confidence allows you to move forward even if you have fear, right? And so this is going to be important where you're simulating your first 90 days as a PM. You are using the STAR method to build confidence, to answer PM questions, and you're getting mentoring and coaching from someone who's been a PM. And a lot of times, that mentor and that coach is going to say, hey, look, you've already got the PM skills. You've got these transferable skills, so you're closer than you actually think. And that you really don't need permission to behave like a PM. Once you've got the skills, you've got the knowledge, go out there and help organizations implement successful projects, and you can do it. And the reason I can say that with confidence is because I've seen so many individuals make it to these amazing careers. You know, Miriam was someone that I worked with, stay-at-home mom, three kiddos like me, and she came to me and goes, MJ, I'm ready for the next milestone of my life. And I said, what do you want to do? And when she told me it was IT project management, I was like, okay, well, here are the steps. It's hard work, but do you want to do it? And she said yes. And today she's working at an amazing organization, making in the six figures. So it's possible for anyone. It does require mindset, and it does require for an individual to operate from a place of, I know this is scary, but I know it's going to be worth it kind of mindset. And so part of, this whole blueprint that I've created in the last 8 years of helping individuals get into project management is to train, to brand, and to build confidence. Those are the three things that I operate on. And when I say train, I'm not talking about slides. I'm talking about hands-on practice. And when I say brand, it's really creating that picture of you in that looks like, creating that PM avatar and making sure you've got that confidence right behind you, right? When I think back to 14 years ago, my friend who referred me to that consulting company, well, she's the one who said, look, you can do it. You've got the skills. You come from, you've done X, Y, and Z. That's project management. And granted, I didn't go in as a project manager, but I was able to join a project team, understand what a project is, and help, sort of then expand it on my knowledge. But just in taking that opportunity, risk opportunity, which is a positive thing, I was able to increase my salary by about $35,000. So this is something that, if you're in that pivotal moment in your life where you're like, I know I need to do something different, but I don't know what. And I don't know if IT projects for me, but I have some kind of an interest. And I do realize that everyone's background's different. And some personalities, I have to say, are not a good fit for IT project management. Yet, if you are looking, excuse me, the transition and you want to have a personalized assessment of your resume, you want me to take a look at it, have a conversation with you, I'll be happy to do that. I do one-on-one sessions all the time. If you want the link, I can send it to you. Just comment or put in the chat. And that way we can kind of review your background. What makes sense? What would be your role on an IT project? How much would you be earning? Is it a good transition for you? And so on. And that way, instead of a webinar, we get to have that one-on-one conversation. So let me know if you want that link. I'll be more than happy to send that over to you. And that way you can make your, be in an amazing career that you want to be in and earn to your potential, right? There's a lot of money to be made in on IT projects. So with that being said, put your questions in the chat, or Carla, I know you're on. I don't know if you have any specific questions I can help answer for you, or anything that maybe came up that you want me to clarify. I'd be more than happy to do that. All right, if no questions, then thank you so much for joining today. I hope it was helpful. I hope that gave you some clarity in terms of the direction you want to take, and maybe even explore IT project management for yourself. But I appreciate everyone who's watching live and for joining today. I'll see you in about 3 weeks. And We'll go over, sort of the same thing, and then I can help provide any questions. Thank you, Carla. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.